Hey, it's Dusty,
And it's Daniel.
and we're playing Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater HD Edition.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
So, this game, for those of you who don't know,
The uninitiated.
this game takes place chronologically first in the Metal Gear Solid franchise. It takes place in 1964, and you play as Naked Snake, who will then become what is known as Big Boss.
Whoa,
Oh,
spoiler
no.
alert.
Dude, everyone knows that. So basically, when you start a new game, you're given these options. Now, I'm not very well versed on what each of these are, because when I played this game, I played it on.
It was actually 1964.
No, when I played this game, it was the original Snake Eater, which only had I'm new, I like MGS1, and I like MGS2. Okay, so basically, when you pick I like MGS1, your stamina will not go down as quickly, so it'll last longer. So that's kind of cool. If you pick MGS2, you start out wearing the Raidonovich mask, and
you earn the eternal hatred of all of your other MGS players.
well, I'm sure. But if you pick I like MGS3, and then you save your game, it gives you access to the demo theater and extra camos. But I'm pretty sure the camos will be. But I'm pretty sure the camos are in this game regardless, because it's the HD selection. HD collection.
HD rejection.
Yeah, my speaking is amazing.
What a thrill in my heart.
So anyways, that's basically what we're given to choose. So, I don't know about you, Daniel, but I think we're going to go with MGS3. What do you think?
Why not?
Let's do it. Oh yeah, difficulty. So, I think we should do it normal. Or European Extreme, because the game does end when you're seen. That'll keep you on your toes.
I would never play the game on European Extreme.
So, fun fact, I have never played this game on normal. It's only been on these two difficulties. Only because on the easier difficulties you get the easy gun right off the bat, and that's a great weapon. And I just loved using it. I just mess around and use it. But anyways, the rest of this video is probably just going to be the opening cutscenes. So I guess enjoy the beginning to Metal Gear Solid 3, and we'll see you guys in the next part, which will be coming out right after this one.
I'm gonna use the restroom.
I'm gonna read up on some things you can do in this game.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Pakistan, altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off. Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. Ready to go.
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Gosh.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask. Depressurization complete. Checking oxygen supply. 6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch. 6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch. Sunrise. External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up. You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill. 1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear. Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green. Prepare for drop off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
Don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB-754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first, and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba, and so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handed him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in a facility?
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yast, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us. Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino-Yast in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the West. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proof.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talent?
She's equipped with 2 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as 2 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
You're a medic.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're
Dr.
facing a
Clark.
4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it
What
shouldn't
did
take
you
more
do
than a
to
few hours.
Frank Jaeger, you
Only
whore?
time for dinner.
But
Nevertheless.
if anything goes wrong, you'll be
But
eating
I feel
dinner,
like she probably
breakfast,
had-
and all
Did
the
Naomi
rest of
kill
your
her, or
meals
did
in pajamas.
Grey Fox?
I think Grey Fox did. I'm not gonna say exactly that she didn't deserve it, but at this point in her life, she didn't.
No, not at this point.
No, it's
Man, she's such a beautiful lady, man. Why would you even begin to accuse her of being something she ain't, man? She's just a pretty lady.
Gotta get it. Come on, Snake. Bend at the knees, gotta stick the landing.
Ah. Ah.
That's not exactly sticking the landing.
I will always only think of that
You
part.
gotta stick the landing.
You did 3-point landing though. Well, 4-point.
That's not sticking the landing.
Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater. Snake Eater. Oh, that was a good one. I am still in a dream. Snake Eater. Snake Beater.
Come here, Snake.
That's a trophy in GS2.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. He's just breathing heavily, that was it. Snake, what are you doing?
Focus on the mission.
I forgot to mention that he gets splitter camo.
Do you copy?
Oh,
You're already in enemy territory.
Otacon.
Somebody might be listening
Big
in.
boss.
From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other.
all the waiting.
Your code name for this mission will be
Oh,
Naked
it's gonna play
Snake.
a game and be
I'll
like,
be referring to
yeah.
you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake from now
You don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
Yet the boss does in the next conversation.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant.
Jack,
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major?
I
What should I call you?
smoke
Let's
cigars.
see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom.
Major
This
Tom's
will be a
around the
sneaking
control.
mission. You
I'm
must not be
stepping
seen by the
through
enemy.
the
You
door.
must leave no trace of your
Snaking
presence.
mission.
Is that clear?
This
This
is
kind of
Major
infiltration
Tom
is the Fox
calling
Unit
Naked
Special.
Snake.
In other
How are you
words,
going on your
weapons and equipment to procure on
biggest
site.
spy mission?
That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name
Major?
implies.
This is Major Tom
Now I see
speaking.
why you asked me if I like
Go ahead,
snakes.
Snake.
I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No, there's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to
Major,
the subject,
I don't
how
know
exactly am
why
I
you're
supposed to feed
speaking
myself?
that way.
You've been issued a knife
That's
and a
quite simple,
tranquilizer gun.
Snake.
Use
I'm
them to
not
hunt for
Major
food.
Tom.
You'll also
I'm
find some
David
medical supplies
Bowie.
in your backpack.
I'm here to run your mission.
About the backpack. I lost
This is
it in
going
the
to
tree
be
on the way down.
fabulous. Pretty soon you'll be covered in
I see.
fame.
Well, you'd better go back and get it then.
When,
You know where it is?
No problem.
did you
I
know
can
that
see it from here.
that
It's
Diamond
stuck on a
Dogs
branch.
is, the name of a David
Dave,
Bowie
yeah,
song?
I did know that.
To climb a
Have you
tree,
heard the song?
stand
think
in
so.
front of
Yeah,
a
actually, I
tree
think you
that's
should
covered
have
in
seen
ivy
It's a
and
good song.
press the
Diamond
action
Dogs.
button.
Oh,
I'll be monitoring your
No more,
progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace.
Only in
while
this
being
series
gunshot.
would moving to like a
My frequency
famed
is
Hollywood actor.
140.85.
Yeah, so
I'll give you a
be
call if I
considered
need
such
to
a
talk.
down because people are like, oh,
If you need to talk to me, use the send
Guys,
function.
it's me.
Okay, Snake, go get your
There goes
backpack.
Mike. Guys.